Welcome back to Finding a Tori. I am here, thrilled to be here with my my hosts, my friends, my longtime table mates. Arcadia and Tori are here. Welcome back for everybody that's been listening, everybody that's been finding a Tori. We really appreciate you.
Hey!
Yeah, so if you are experiencing us on your favorite podcatcher, that is awesome. If you are interacting with us on any social media platform, that is very cool. And if you are so inclined, please hit the button at www.wordleafmedia/findingatoria and support us on Patreon.
Did we ever explain what a Toria is?
We've talked about it here and there, but not in its entirety.
I like to think of it as an amalgamous concept.
Oh, I knew you were going to go somewhere like that.
Let's not tack that down just yet. Anyway, we've got two stories, two very intriguing topics today that Tori and Arcadia are bringing to you. But as you know, that we don't just go around here. We're going to roll initiative. We're going to see who gets initiative and who goes first. I think that the follow-up topic option is a +1.
Hey.
And then, speaking of a field in which you have worked,
yes,
going to go a +1 there. So they round off to nada, but there are +1s to be had.
All right.
All right.
Like an honest roll here. 8 is
8
not
plus
enough.
1 is 9.
It doesn't beat my 17.
We've got a big 17 over there.
But I'm going first.
Oh, takes initiative, jumps in, and today, Bert, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're hopping back on a topic that we spent some time on, and there's a more modern update and discussion to have maybe in the same space. Is that correct?
Exactly.
I'm going to turn it over to you.
Okay, so I am covering, and this is with the fact that we have a more fundamental regime in office currently. There are some fundamentalist shit that is coming back to bite us in the ass, and we seem to be functioning in our second round of, and there's big ass quotes here, folks, Satanic Panic, because this one seems like it's the U.S. government who is fighting the gamers for stupid reasons.
How interesting.
And this all, so a couple of the places that I looked, it was all this, something on Facebook that came up, and I was like, oh my God, and sent it to you guys and was like, what is this shit? Mm-hmm. So in Texas, not surprising, right? For all those Texans that are cool, we like you, stay cool. But your politicians need some help. Except for Jasmine Crockett, who can do no wrong in my eyes. But it's neither here nor there. It's
not anywhere.
Yeah, I know. So some of the stuff that I saw were like Ghostfire Games does the Eldritch Rollcast is their podcast. Mm-hmm. And they did an episode that has the role-playing Satanic Panic returned. There was another one that was Above the Table. Role-playing is under attack again. There is tons of articles about this.
The community is aware and speaking on this.
So what's going on in Texas?
Okay, so in Texas, what they are doing, and this, by the way, this bill has not passed.
It has been presented.
It has been presented by one person. There is not a second person.
Nobody's supported it yet.
Regardless, though, it's right? legislation.
But it's the fact that
it's a big enough thing that they've actually presented the legislation.
They have, but nobody will pick it up.
Okay.
Like, they can't find a secondary person to go, yeah, that's important and stuff enough that, no. So Greg Abbott, who's the governor of Texas, right? Okay. He has wanted to supplant, like, the public school system, which this is happening everywhere. Sucks. I guess it's not happening everywhere, but the U.S. is going through
the public school
a lot of this
are
where they're trying to give these vouchers for the private school to folks, which has its own host of problems, right? So Abbott wants that to happen.
Wants the vouchers.
Okay.
Yep,
He's
that's
pushing the vouchers.
That's in a lot of states.
Right.
Has been for a long time.
So he was like, yes. And this all boils down, this is no shit. And the amount of retractions that have gone through on this. In 2022, they were reporting that they had litter boxes in classrooms.
Oh, I remember hearing
To
about this.
accommodate the
furries.
The furries,
Yeah,
yes.
I remember hearing about this.
Now, number one, this was debunked 6 times over. Unfortunately, if you live in the U.S., they have that shit in the classroom just in case they get locked in and one of the kids has to pee.
So it's
The only reason they had kitty litter
Was for shooter drills.
for shooter drills and for anything emergency in those classrooms, not because they were letting the cat furries use the litter box. That's not a thing. So, and that's been debunked.
so you get some bad reporting, and then you get some social media traction, and you have
Right.
okay.
And there's
and so you would then have a group of people that would respond to the idea of litter boxes for furries in school as
oh my God,
something
there's this
to panic about. Even if it's not true, we have now a response.
and what I think it is they're using it as a reason to pull kids. Because I think one of the things that Abbott was saying, and yeah, if you want these vouchers because you don't want your kids sitting next to basically shitting on the weird kids. It was like, if you don't want your kid to go to school with these people, and they're like, there was a lot more pointed terms, which don't yuck their yum. Just leave the kids alone. They don't give a fuck. It's not gotten weird at that point. They're just kids.
Right.
Let them go. So the name of the act, it's called the FURRIES Act. No shit.
I was just going to say, so I'm presuming the connection is that this is, being a furry is somewhat role-playing.
Forbidding unlawful representation in education.
Okay.
Furry.
That's the name of it. That takes
That's
a lot.
the name of the goddamn bill.
Somebody
Oh
got
my-
paid a
Yeah,
shitload of money
exactly.
to drop that one too.
No shit. That is the FURRIES Act
That's
name.
better than bad.
Yeah. So, and the guy who put forward that legislation, his name is Stan Gerds. And the language of it is vague enough. It basically, so it says it's to curtail non-human behavior, key point, non-human behavior in schools. And that includes taking on features of non-human, licking oneself or others for the purpose of grooming or maintenance, using litter box to urinate poop. Doesn't happen. But like you can't have...
It's broad enough.
Right. No, what does it say? No animal noises, no clubs for that, no accessories, so no leashes, no collars, no nothing, which I'm going to tell you this. There are a whole lot of people who wear collars. It has nothing to do with being a furry. It's an accessory. Get the fuck over it.
So the idea being, I guess, as I'm sort of maybe jumping the gun here, but is the problem is that the broadness of the language equals if you have a D&D club at your school,
Right.
or another type of TTRPG in which you have species other than human,
Right. It's broad enough that
if that passes, you cannot
Specific
have
scenario
that.
time. I'm sitting around a hallway, dice, paper,
Yeah.
friends after school,
Yeah.
and I'm DMing Dragon. I go draconic voice sort of situation, whatever that is. I'm now in violation of that law if it is passed.
right.
And it would prohibit an organized club that had the purpose of getting together and imagining and role playing.
Okay, so one of Gerd's quotes, or it could be Gerd, I don't know what it is. One of his quotes is no distractions, no theatrics, just education.
Well, there goes your drama club.
That's the problem. But then there is a caveat for the costumes and shit. They're fine for plays. The mascot
Yeah. So the mascot gets to be a furry.
and Halloween.
Wow.
That's it. Those are your caveats. But this is another, there's tons of legislation that have been pushed through, or even policy, which isn't necessarily law, but like shitloads. And I'm not joking. I just saw a list. They started going, a lot of prisons, you can't play D&D.
Right.
Because it basically, you have your own little crew of nerds, and that facilitates gang activity.
I've heard that, and I've also heard that they view it as something that can be used as debt accrual, that you can owe somebody something from playing that game, which not, but yeah, that it's really, I don't think it's going to be something that ever really goes away.
No.
It's going to rear its head in different iterations. What does, in my mind, goes immediately to, I want all the information you have on it, of course, Tori, but what's being done? Is there a group? Is there a movement? Or is this thing just kind of dead on arrival by its ridiculousness?
A second person has not picked it up because honestly, it is basing it off a debunked,
right?
An actually debunked myth from 2022. It is 2025. Drop it.
So, in your research, did you find if there's other pushes for this? I mean, like when you think about the Satanic Panic, you had this parental organization pushing for these things.
The only thing when I come up with try and come up with that the topic, everything from now pointed right back to the FURRIES Act. Nothing else.
Right. This is the one that's going on right now.
Like this is and that one is just because of that super broad language, which it doesn't necessarily target TTRPGs, but it's that
it's so broad
human.
Well, and that's the thing. And I also don't like any legislation that says you guys can't get together.
Right.
That one's a little weird. Now, if you're a criminal, violent, dangerous organization, maybe you guys shouldn't have lunch together. I get it. But anytime that people are taking up a hobby and it is not overtly hurting anyone, the dispersal of the populace from their collective groups is always a tactic I'm not a huge fan of. But
there is one more quote that I'm going to bring up for this. And it's from Tess Lynch, who is, I think, one of the people fighting it. She's another lawyer. I think she's a lawyer.
Okay, that's what I was looking for.
So she's probably poised to go after these fuckers because she says, and I quote, if armbands are protected speech, talking about the black arm badge.
Right.
If armbands are protected speech, how can cat ears be banned?
Right.
Nice.
Right. It just seems like something that doesn't have enough gravitas behind it and enough support to it. But and that's part of our national structures. You can submit, if you are a lawmaker, a law to
saying anything.
And not to fearmonger by any means. Don't want to go there. But being aware is good. You know, I mean, just being aware that, there is this out there. Maybe it's completely, off its rockers and nobody's ever going to touch it with a 10-foot pole. And maybe maybe some wackadoo gets something like this through. I don't know.
That's the problem. If anything like this gets through, it's going to be one of the southern states. No, I'm not going to cut that one up. It's out of, it has to be any of the red leading states.
Yeah.
And what you're going to find, hopefully, is a response from a community where your local gaming store's like, oh, really? Okay, no problem.
Wait.
Come on through. Gertie
says, literally, one of his quotes was he expects full furry vengeance on the Capitol.
You got to prepare for full furry vengeance at any point in time.
What? What?
I don't know. Most kids I know that do furry stuff, man,
they already know that they're the outliers.
There's no meanness. There's no.
Yeah, it's not.
To bring us to our TTRPG side of this, is that
it's the role playing.
It's the role playing.
It's what I heard from those statements, your quotes there, was that it is viewed dangerous or ill-effective to spend your time imagining to be something else or doing any of those pursuits.
Yeah, yes. There was some statement you said in there that was something about creativity, about sort of not being not using imagination.
No distractions, no theatrics, just education.
Yeah, that is a terrifying statement. I've got to be honest with you. I mean, It's
also dumb as owl shit too if you break it down, but go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like, I am not a licensed educator. I think I've mentioned in the past, I'm about halfway through a master's degree in education. I've spent some time as an aide in our public schools. And you don't teach kids without creativity and imagination. And if you try, those kids are going to be,
I have visions,
so unengaged.
I have visions of clones.
Right.
And
right.
Just going, you know what I mean? And if that's what you want, that's what you want. And there's hopefully going to be enough people to fight you on that. But that's unfortunately, there's going to be people 40 years from now, hopefully doing this podcast, talking about the fact there's always going to be a force that can find something uncomfortable in what someone else does and look to move to remove that from their vision in their society.
Well, and that's the sad part, because one of the things my mom always said was, if I didn't have to worry about you guys and you were sitting around a table for a couple hours doing nothing but pretend at each other, I would have signed you up for D&D a long time ago.
Yeah. And my assumption, and maybe I'm wrong, but I guess my hope is, what I'm going to present after our break is somewhat a rebuttal to this. And I think it is becoming well known at this point that there are so many benefits that can come out of TTRPGs that hopefully something like this will not gain a lot of traction.
It smells very, very flimsy on its face to me. It's a fantastic story, and I think, like you said, Arcadia, it's good to be aware. It's good to be a good steward of your community, and knowing that there are people out there putting legislation forward that would limit your ability to
self-express,
find the benefits of the hobby, engage others in it. You know what I mean? This exponential growth of the game could be impacted.
But to do it with
games, excuse me.
False narrative is
sure, and base it on bullshit news is kind of weird too.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I think did you have anything else on that? I think that it speaks for itself as something that's just heinous enough to keep an eye on.
Yeah.
And
that was why I sent it to you guys when I first saw it. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's. Yeah.
Sorry, Jess.
Well,
what the crazy is out there.
Sorry.
We are sorry, Jess. So what we're going to do here is not be sorry that we're going to take a little break and talk to you about things that are upcoming and that we're looking forward to on Finding a Tori podcast. And we will return with the second portion of the show shortly. Bad. This episode of Finding a Tori is brought to you by Wordleaf Media. The Finding a Tori podcast is looking for guests for our upcoming episodes. Are you or someone you know passionate about the TTRPG community and have a story to share? If so, contact us on our socials or reach out at wordleafmedia.com/findingatoria. And now back to your program. And we're back with headphones and everything.
And the two of us laughing.
And welcome back to the Finding a Tori podcast.
And yes, we're laughing at you, not with you.
Never a doubt in my mind that it was.
I don't think he had mistaken that.
Nope. My heart knows what it knows. We are back with another segment and just touching back on a really good conversation that we had about some of the challenges to community and some of the forces and preconceived notions out there that are not positive in the TTRPG community space. Kind of wanted to pivot to what's being done in the light, what is positive, and Arcadia had put together some information for us speaking to that.
Yeah, so I'm sort of doing the flip side of the coin.
Yep.
That there is becoming more and more recognition that within the educational sphere, there is a benefit to use of the TTRPG. Mm-hmm. And this is not just in after-school clubs.
Right.
This is in the classroom.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. And so it's actually really exciting to see some of the stories out there. I was engaging in the community on social media, and the number of teachers that came forward with stories about use of TTRPGs to teach subjects in the classroom. And from the idea that you can teach advanced geometry,
You could really fit a lot within that structure and then adapt it to a classroom setting.
Yeah, you can teach geography. You can teach history. You can teach, you name it, you can teach it. You can teach science. The biggest piece of it is, you're not just sitting down playing any game.
No, you gotta...
as the teacher, you have to develop a game that teaches the subject you want to teach. But that is lesson planning in general.
I kind of go back to the clinical application that we talked about in another episode where it difficult. If you're sitting there trying to run game, which we all agree is a very complicated process, but you're still trying to get across this syllabus of information or these points. It's really cool.
Yeah. So I guess I just sort of wanted to teach on the validity of it. That if people are doing this, why are they doing this? And a couple of different things, if people are ever interested in how to do it, or they want to know, maybe they want to make an argument at their school or whatever, or maybe a lot of people want to use it in homeschooling and things like that.
That would make sense, though.
Yeah. And that's
a lot more tailored to the particular kid.
Yeah. And actually, one of the resources I found on social media was a gentleman who, I don't know how familiar you guys are with homeschooling. I did it for a little bit with my children, that for a lot of homeschooling now, there are, resources that you can go out to. There's online classes that you can sign your kids up to learn certain topics. And this guy offers that online. He offers teaching topics through TTRPGs online.
Very cool.
Yeah, it's really sort of cool. But all of this really comes out of it, and you can see it in so many ways. This idea of either you can call it one of two things, either game-based learning, which is sort of its origin title, or you can look up gamified curriculum.
Okay.
And you can see game-based learning. If you have kids now, you have seen game-based learning. ABC Mouse.
Right. Not a newer concept.
No.
Right.
I don't know. That's the one that comes to my mind. My kids did that a ton. Khan Academy has stuff. You have all sorts of different digital tools that are, they are in the classrooms, they are in homes, they are everywhere, to use games to teach children concepts. And this goes back to like the 60s. You had psychologists doing research. Big one is Jean Piaget. And he, really recognized that playing and learning for children is a cognitive development tool. That is a natural way that children learn. And so throughout the decades since then, it's been developed more and more until we actually are at a point where we have, for our world, research on specifically not just gameplay, but TTRPG.
Right, absolutely.
Gameplay.
They've been able to narrow that down and show where those specific benefits are versus the larger apparatus of gameplay.
Exactly.
Well, and it doesn't use a different part of your brain than just sitting down and taking notes?
Yeah, there's a lot of ways that it becomes beneficial. And one of it goes back to some stuff we've talked about before is just the psychology behind it.
Right.
In that, there's a study here, and I'm going to give you the title of it: a scoping review of tabletop role-playing game as psychological intervention, potential benefits and future directions. That is not about gamified learning. That is just about the psychology of TTRPGs and how it engages people.
Right.
And the point that study makes is that those who are reticent to engage can be brought in, can be engaged better when you present them with a catered TTRPG setting.
Right.
Have seen a ton of examples where teachers are listing off the successes of this. And then I was sort of interested in seeing from you guys, because within the social media realm, I'm seeing people say, oh yeah, my teacher did this back in, 87.
There
so did you guys ever have experiences like that in school?
Public school, no. Not that. I was part of a summer program that did like an outdoor sort of D&D adventure, and it was about identifying different flora and different plants and things in nature, but they crafted it as a D&D / LARPing RPG. And it was fun. It was a good time. It was something that I remember as soon as you brought the topic up, it flooded to my mind. But I did not have that quote unquote cool teacher that was running the club back then.
No.
Mm-hmm. What about for kids? Have you guys seen anything for your kids in a younger generation?
No, I have not. There have been a couple of teachers that there's been noise about it, but when I heard about it was right before the pandemic hit.
Oh, sure.
And everything was like, well, that's gone. Like,
Right.
never mind. I was kind of looking for, there was one of Chase's classes that was going to do like something with their last project, but he got pulled out.
Yeah. And that is, I guess I wanted to get to what you mentioned there, the project concept. You know, I cannot imagine running a TTRPG for like the whole semester to teach.
No, it wasn't.
You know, I could see it as when I remember when I was, 5th grade, this was not a TTRPG experience, but it was a history class. And, you know, it was one of those things where you had to, you know, I think it was studying ancient Egypt or something, and we had to build a pyramid or do something. And, you know, so it was a hands-on learning. You weren't just reading the book, you were delving in, and you had to present and whatever. That is the moment I learned to love history. The whole class wasn't that way.
Right.
It was that project.
No, same thing. I did a poli-sci where they gave you a country.
Yeah.
And like you had to go, you had 4 people with their desks push up against each other, and you were Bartlovia, and Bartlovia had a whole lot of exports of wheat, but a really weak military, and you had to trade. And I was just like, okay, let's fucking go.
Which in and of itself is a type
of role play.
Yeah,
you're taking on the role.
Giannakis' class.
Yes. Absolutely.
That's exactly. So I have been in one of those.
And it was I guess you would be role playing a head of the nation, and you got assigned roles. You're going to be our minister of war, and you know, and you go over to the other table and be like, we need wheat. We have nukes, and okay, sorry, but it was sort of an introduction to that, and it once again not all semester. I think it was a week's thing, and it was very, very cool.
And there were some almost brawls in that class because people would be like, "No, we need your shit," and people would be like, "No, if you come up to us again, we have nukes, and I'm gonna punch you in the face."
Oh, it was bad. It is probably a lot of the reason.
Seriously, it was like,
where we
why
are
the 13-year-olds have something that they could get violent with?
Right.
Like,
all I wanted was the wheat. They wouldn't give it to me. All right.
So I take this into another realm of now imagine that, and maybe your teacher allows you to go to war for the wheat, you know?
Sure.
And so then
I'm not going to lie. For a minute, I did not hear wheat. I was like, what kind of, I was like, I don't remember that being an export of Bartlovia, but you know?
Maybe.
We make good trade for you.
Yeah.
Like, never mind.
But to the idea of like, I'm going to actually share this because I thought this was really interesting. Another study by a PhD student. And the opening to it says, if an 8-year-old student approached me asking how to calculate X on a triangle, that sounds totally normal for a classroom, other than the age, in my opinion, so that they can go save a fictional Hamlet from evildoers. I'd think that something is terribly wrong in the classroom, was the opening statement.
Hold the hell on. What are we doing again?
Calculating X on a triangle.
So that we can
save a Hamlet from evildoers. Okay.
I'm in immediately.
Right? And so that's where it goes on. It says, on the contrary, a middle school teacher and PhD student, Marianne Cullinan, has concluded that the use of tabletop role-playing games has untapped potential as a tool for education. I love that statement.
I love the untapped potential element of that statement. What could we be doing with this resource?
Right? Yeah, because again, you can. Now, here's my thought. Different schools function in different ways. My kids' middle school functions in what they call teams. And so you have 4 teachers that between them teach the core curriculum. They teach history, they teach science, they teach math, they teach language arts. And they meet together and function as a team. And within the school, there's a set of students. These are their 4 teachers. Now, imagine those 4 teachers working together.
World building.
To create
that'd be cool.
a TTRPG situation in which you can teach science, math, English.
I would have gotten much better grades.
You make it a dungeon, and then they get to play it, and there's different choices that are made, so they're going to eventually they'll bump into each other.
And how about creative writing?
And then you have, everybody gets to do a chapter of it. Oh, I love this.
I mean, untapped potential.
If
We would have gotten, my grades would have been so much better.
Oh, telling me.
So much better.
If you're listening to this episode and you know somebody that's doing this or have had
Let
a
us
student that has
know.
benefited, comment and bring this back. I want to come back to this and if we can talk to people that are making these sorts of things happen. And I guess my next question would be, is this something that they give you the notion that will become part of core? Like, is it these teachers that are doing it as one-offs, or are we actually seeing this bleed into how institutions and districts are presenting things?
That's a really good question, because in this article I was just sharing from this Marianne Cullinan, and I think this was a part of her PhD research, if I remember correctly from my reading, and she had done research with other teachers who were also using TTRPGs in the classroom, and what they discovered is that the teachers that bring that to the classroom are teachers who are engaged or have been engaged in the hobby. They are teachers who are aware of this. And to be fair, also aware of game-based learning, which I will lay out there. That is just teacher. If you are going through getting an education degree at this point in time, you are going to learn about the psychology behind game-based learning.
Fundamental
Like that's
stuff
just a piece
Which
of the
is just
psychology
awesome.
classes you're going to learn. And that does not necessarily focus on TTRPG, but it does teach that identification of game-based learning. But they discovered that the gap is that there are not a lot of resources to support those teachers in implementing this in the classroom. They are having to develop and bring it all themselves into the classroom.
Be cool if we could do something about that.
Oh, imagine that.
Because you're right. If you're trying to build a club, if you're trying to make that, what's an average classroom size? You're between what, 20?
It depends on the school district.
15?
I would say 15 to 30.
If you're doing new player setups for everybody and resources for everybody like that, that's a difficult ask, especially if you go virtual and then you need digital resources.
And especially when you think about trying to pertain that to a specific curriculum.
Right.
You're teaching world history, or you're teaching American history, or
correct me if I'm wrong. You have
creative writing.
You have to, as an educator, submit your lesson plans.
Either, it depends on laws, but usually the school has learning objectives, or the state has learning objectives. Sometimes it is very specific what tools you generally learn to teach that, or you generally use to teach that.
And then the educator has the latitude to, if they are into the hobby and have that knowledge, to bring that in and use that to apply it to a lesson.
Yeah. Okay. But it still has to follow a general curriculum tool.
But if you think about it, some of that stuff could be, honestly, with the amount of AI, and I'm not saying it is a tool.
We love artists. Yes, we do.
Yes,
we love
it
artists.
is a tool.
How about you?
But if you use such a thing to maybe help you do the encounters with the whatever subject you're teaching,
You use it as a
I
tool,
think it would be a good and it could help you make good character sheets that and really, honestly, you don't have to give the kids 8 billion options.
No, but you could also have somebody who feels comfortable with it say, I'd like to write an adventure.
Yeah, which is fine,
you
too.
You could get submissions online and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. Would you like to have your adventure run by my 3rd grade class, 7th grade class? I think that you can collaborate a lot there.
So this needs to be a call out from the community. Is that we need people to help.
And there are, to be fair, there are things out there to some degree. I will say it's not like there's an abundance, but there are some
Learn to
resources
Play
out there.
Is a website that kind of addresses bringing that to a classroom setting. I'm not sure, but I would love to hear more and may actually go out online and ask the question, maybe follow up on this, because it's a lot of what I want to do when we talk about mission and finding people places at the tables. I want to create more fucking tables.
Yeah.
Build the community.
And help that. Yeah, absolutely. But I've known educators. I've lived with one. There is no question in my mind that if they want to do that, every single cent is coming out of their pocket to make that happen.
That's the problem, is we need to give those...
along with everything having to do with teachers.
We need to give teachers support, whether it be with games or not.
Agreed. But if that's the reason why it's not happening in a classroom and could be, I'd like to know that and try to solve that with our community. Then just go, oh, well, that sucks. Maybe we can, love to hear back. And maybe there's some things that people are willing to share what's working and what they're willing to do.
And I'm not going to lie, most of the because there's always exceptions to the rule, most of the TTRPG community are mostly creative motherfuckers.
Right. Sounds like something that's solvable. Yeah. Shout us out, man. Let us know what's going on that we need to know in ways that we can. That's good. That's a little bit of cleansing after
my. So the rebuttal is there is a shit ton of research out there to tell the dude down in Texas who's trying to put this crap forward that we need creativity, we need imagination, we need role playing in the classroom. It helps people learn better.
Excellent.
It does.
It does. Anything else on the topic before we send it out to the community and follow up on it another time?
No, I think we're good.
That is fantastic, Bird. Any other thoughts on your topic going back to Texas legislation, which we love, folks in the state of Texas.
We do.
Just
I don't like your politicians.
This legislation.
Yeah. Other than this, I think. No matter what, we're going to have this fundamentalist, I can't find
this is a part of America. To be
I know.
This is a part of America.
And so we're always going to be bucking up against it somehow.
Let me be clear. The United States of America.
And it's just something that we're going to have to be aware of.
I think we're just going to have to be aware of it. The thing is, bust those myths.
Right. And that's
when you see something wrong and somebody's parroting it, pull up the article and be like, stop talking about that. It's bullshit.
Take the time to get the truth out. Absolutely.
The cats and dogs are getting eaten in Ohio. It's the same kind of rumor.
It is.
Because it's just as easy to share one as a lie.
Right.
A truth and a lie.
The same thing.
So,
and our kids are the ones who get popped for it.
Yep.
Right, man. The next generation not having gaming clubs. I think that both of the topics are going to be something that we revisit in the future. I'd like to know more about what's being done in education with it, and it's kind of a little tickle in my shoe that we might have a part to play in helping there. So if you've enjoyed this episode or any of them, go ahead and on your preferred pod player, subscribe to us, share a link, have a good time, tell a friend.
I'm going to interject here. You guys, if you write reviews, that helps people find us.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Absolutely. It's going to...
Especially on Apple Podcasts, if you have reviews... all of a sudden you get pushed forward in the algorithm.
Right, reviews.
And then also find us out there and talk to us. We really want to be able to engage with you on what we're discussing and hear back from you so you can reach us. www.wordleafmedia/findingatoria.
.com. You got to use the .com, wordleafmedia.com.
.com.
Or it won't work.
Okay. So the internet. You can also go out to social media and talk to us. What I would also request is if you would support the show and the people that are doing this weekly to bring you the fun and the entertainment by hitting that good old button on the website, going out to our Patreon, perhaps. And there are more than a few different levels that you can support us with. And there's all kinds of great things for your money and your contribution and your love and support.
Take a second, Tori.
Take a second, Tori.
What are you putting behind in our Patreon?
Oh, there's going to be compare and contrast monsters throughout the editions. And I might have the Beholder one already pulled up on his own document.
Our mechanics maestro is
doing a little breakdown.
Yeah, taking us
I was
through.
given a topic basically, and a couple of faces went, "You want to do that, don't you?" And I'm like, "No, I don't want." Yeah, I need all the books though.
Good thing we have all the books.
Guys, it has been fun. I really enjoyed the topics today. Thank you for coming in, Tori, Arcadia, spending some time. We did get confirmation. Just got home safe.
Yay!
So have a good week. Everybody enjoys. We will talk to you next week.
Yep.
And say bye to everybody.
Later.
Bye.
Bye.